There you go.
Hello, how are you?
So, I'm doing good, Mallory. What about you?
Doing well, thank you.
That's so nice to hear. So, welcome to the show. It is
Thank
so
you.
cool to have someone as awesome and talented and badass as you, of course. So, before we start, I have to give you an epic welcome. If you have seen some of my episodes before, you know exactly what I'm about to do. If not, that's fine. Let me show you. There you go.
Love it. Have fun.
Pretty cool, right?
Pretty cool, have to say.
Cool. Now, starting with the whole interview now, tell me how your acting career started.
Quite a long story. Got into it when I was really young. A family friend of ours, introduced my sister and I to set with Cartoon Network. Started that, loved it, and hated it simultaneously. Then I kind of moved on into theater and didn't really enjoy that all that much when I was in high school, but stuck with it, kept with the trade, but didn't really decide to go professional until university. So I've been doing that for the professional route, I guess, for about 3 years now, 3 or 4.
Okay. So then you went to university and then you got your degree in microbiology from the University from Alabama in 2018. So tell me, what made you wanted to switch into acting?
So what happened there was I had a friend, university sets, whenever they're studying film, can be a little fickle, and they had an actor drop out, and a friend of mine said, hey, I know you know what to do in an acting setting, and you memorize scripts really quickly. I will buy you a mellow mushroom pizza of whatever flavor you want if you come do this set for me. And that's all it took.
Yeah.
It was the first time I was on a film set since I was a kid, and I loved it and realized how much I missed it. So that's what inspired the switch.
Cool. And back when you were started, what were some of the challenges that you had?
One of the main challenges was just knowing what to do. Nobody tells you what's wrong, that what you did was terrible.
Yeah.
So really, for me, the biggest challenge was getting rid of some old habits that I had learned through high school theater and just other vulnerabilities that I was not releasing, and finding the people that I could trust to help me grow, and finding my coaches and the people that I could trust in the industry. So yeah, that was the biggest challenge, I think.
Okay. Wow. Now, before we continue, can you give me 1 second so I can close my door because my puppy here is killing me, so let me just put him.
Yeah, for sure.
Give me just 1 second real quick.
No worries.
There you go. Cool. I mean, he's like five months. Yeah, he's 5 months old. So he's in the time that he's destroying everything he sees, So I live with 2 other dogs.
Yeah.
I have like in total 3 dogs. So two of them are adults. So they watch him over. So basically they watch over him. But yeah, the puppy, he's just destroying stuff. I mean, he already destroyed, a pair of sneakers, my wallet.
Oh, no.
I mean, my wallet. Yeah, but that's fine. It's part of the whole puppy experience, right? So.
Right, but he'll learn eventually. It's kind of the older dog's job, right, to make sure that he doesn't get into things. But sometimes they get tired, I guess.
Yeah. Or the other day, I was just doing some stuff on the computer, and then the puppy started crying. So then I was like, "Where is he?" And then it turned out that the toilet seat was up, and he went there and he slipped.
Oh,
so
no!
I had to run there quick. I was like, "You gotta be kidding! I mean, you're killing me here, man." So yeah.
Oh. So he's very small, isn't he?
No, he's right now. No. That happened when he was like 2 months, so he was small. Right now,
wow.
he's a little big now, but
yeah. They grow quickly. It's terrifying.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, he's just part of the whole puppy experience, so that's fine.
Right. And I also see my cousin joined. Hey, Kaylee.
That's cool. Now, starting with your acting career, let's start with your theater performances. So you were in High School Musical and Hairspray. Tell me, were those like your first plays? And what are some of the things that you enjoyed the most about them?
Yeah, so those are my first 2 musicals. I absolutely love them. High School Musical, I think, is the one that is near and dear to my heart. It's just, they're both such fun shows. The music is so lively, and that's where I met 2 of my best friends.
Cool.
Was through that show. We were geeks that just strutted onto the stage and
Yeah.
blew our noses, and it was just such a fun show. The first time I ever did ensemble, and the cast was really fun. So yeah, I absolutely adore it, and I still have really warm memories of both of them.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That is so cool. And then you were in the musical comedy Murders of 1940. Tell me also about your character in the play.
Yeah, that's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that show, it was my first straight play. So there was no actual music involved that we actually sang to, that I recall. But it was a show. I played a German maid, Helsa Wenzel. But she was a cross-dressing maid. So I was myself pretending to be a man, pretending to be his sister.
Okay.
It was this whole convoluted mess that was absolutely horribly comedic. The whole cast was hilarious. Jimmy Slazak in particular, I remember, was this Irishman that I think ended up being Russian halfway through, and it was this whole convoluted mess, and it was super duper fun. We took it to a theater competition.
Okay.
We ended up going to second in state. It was really, really fun. It was a great show.
That's strange but epic.
Very strange. I had a really perpetual angry look on my face. Like I would come on stage just angry the whole time. Yeah. Spent many days perfecting the look.
There you go. That's the spirit. Now I'm noticing here that there are some of your family members joining in, right?
Yeah, I see my grandmother's here, my mother's here, my cousin Kaylee's here. We've got a lot. The whole Ivy fam is on.
Well, because of that, let me give you an epic shout out to all of you guys. So there you go. For being so awesome. So so cool. So that play, the title sounds super strange, and I with your character, it makes sense why it would sound like that. So.
Right.
That's so cool. And tell me, what you usually do, or what are some of the techniques you do in order to prepare a character?
It really depends on how much time I have prior to whatever the audition is or the project. And it definitely depends on the script too. There's certain scripts that I go in heart first. Survivor Girls is one of those.
Yeah.
Generally though, I'm definitely more of a research-based person. I try to see where their history is and how that kind of influences how they act, how they react to things, how they walk, and how that's different from me.
Yeah.
One of my coaches, I know it came from somebody else, but Dustin Lewis, who was one of my coaches, told me that, and it just really stuck with me, that characters are yourself. So that's something that I really focus on is I don't want the character to be exactly the same from the last one. I don't want them to be exactly me because that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But how are they different from me? But also how are they similar? And I really focus on a lot of Meisner training and a lot of viewpoints training. So I definitely go through a lot of that work as well. Trying to imagine circumstances, what it would be like, similar circumstances. So that's a lot of the work that I do, but it depends. Sometimes I get an hour, sometimes I get a year. It just really depends.
Totally. I mean, it's a whole lot of. It's a whole different process that some people would think that is just you learn your lines and you're good to go, right?
Right, and that's really not the case. And I'm still learning too. There's so much more sometimes that I wish I could do with the character. And I hear about somebody else's process. I'm like, oh, that's really cool. I want to incorporate that into my own toolbox. So yeah, I'm still learning.
Yeah, absolutely. It is so cool. And also the fact, right, that you can get the chance kind of to put yourself aside for a bit so you can pretend to be, so you can be this person that you are creating, and at the same time you are discovering this world. At the same time, it is you who are discovering with the character. I mean, it's a whole other experience, right?
It really is, yeah. And it's incredible when there's sometimes a moment where it just clicks and it just your whole world changes, and it's like a breath of fresh air. Totally. It's incredible. Yeah.
Wow. And what are some of the things that you do once the play is over? Because, for example, with some of the actors that I've interviewed, everybody has their own thing. For example, some of them they will write like a letter to the character they play, and pretty much say thank you for the experience and everything. Some people will be like, I'm done, goodbye. Or some other would be like, I'm gonna eat something. Let's go eat something.
Yeah.
Like something, like junk food. You know what I mean? Like something,
Right.
yeah,
Something
or
to calm yourself.
or even some of them will be like, let's go for a drink. So for you, on your case, like, what are some of the things that you do? Like, once the play's done, what's like, do you have like a go-to meal or a go-to song? So
I think that's another thing, that it really depends on the character and the production itself.
Yeah.
How stressful the production was.
Yeah, I can.
One in particular that I'm thinking of is Mamma Mia. We had a pre or post, like just depending on the day, we would always go to dinner with each other.
Yeah.
So I think that was one that when that wrapped, we made a very, very big effort to have a big dinner all together of just really crappy steak and shake, really greasy food, and ouzo, because it was a Greek show, so we all had ouzo. Generally, I think I recluse into myself after a project and just spend time in my car for a little bit and just settle, might have a glass of wine, and just say, like, I don't think I acknowledge it until you mentioned it, but yeah, I just kind of internally thank the character for the time that we've had together and move on to the next thing.
That's epic too. That's epic.
Yeah.
Right. Now, you were also in Once Upon a Mattress. You played as Lady Mabel. Tell me also about that play and about your character too.
Yeah. Once Upon a Mattress was a gig that I didn't think I was going to get. That was a show I booked right after college. So I auditioned just on a whim, thinking it would be something to do. It'd be my first contracted gig after college. And I didn't think I was going to book it. So instead I booked a flight to Europe for a couple of weeks. And I get the call that I booked, and I told the director, I said, hey, I'm going to be gone for about 2-3 weeks. I'm gonna miss a lot of rehearsals. Is that okay? And he's like, oh yeah, we'll book you on a bit part. It won't be that big of a deal. And so it was Lady Mabel, and she's just this obnoxious French girl that is infatuated with every man in the kingdom. It was so fun. The whole cast and crew were just lovely. They were all endearing. They put in the work, which is incredible. I think that's super duper essential for any musical project that I ever do, and I respect that very highly. And so coming in, I came in halfway through production, and just, it wasn't like I'd missed a beat. Everyone was ready to go. They caught me up to speed, and we were trucking through it, and it was so much fun. I miss that.
That's so cool. Now, so I asked you, like, what are some of the things that you do after, but now what are some of the things that you do before going on stage?
Ooh. Before going on stage, I'm one of those people that's definitely full of ritual. So my first day of show, I walk the stage. I do a lap around the stage and kind of just like set my intentions. If somebody were to look in from outside, they'd probably think I was crazy or possessed, and I'm just with my eyes closed walking around feeling the stage. But it's just my way of grounding myself into the space and being present and reminding myself of where I am. I also have this tradition, and anybody that's ever worked with me in theater will know what it is. It's called tea time.
Okay.
And tea time is it's a daily ritual that I have, that I invite anybody, any adult cast really, that might have outside pressures on them to just come in together, get into a circle, and set our intentions for the day, kind of regardless of what's going on outside of stage, outside of that performance of the day. Set our intentions, remind ourselves of why we're there, why we do what we do, and focus on what's about to happen, like usually 15 minutes before show starts. So yeah, that's something that I do, and I hold it very dear to my heart. Yeah,
I know, and that's nice, because I think that it makes you feel like all of the cast there could be. I mean, it makes you feel like a part of a family. You know, that knowing that knowing that I mean, everybody has like their own issues, but once you're on that play, it's just to be that character in order kind of to be successful. When you need like the support of each other, right? So
Exactly, yeah, and like you said, like it gives you a moment to get that connection as a family,
Yeah.
and really see eye to eye and have that moment of connection again.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Cool. Wow. You know, one of the things now is that every time I say family, I instantly assimilate with Fast and Furious. I don't know why.
Oh.
Like,
Well, I'm sure they are very, very close. They've done
Yeah.
enough movies by now.
Yeah, totally. And like the memes and everything, like every single time I hear family, my head instantly goes to that meme, you know? So yeah.
Oh yeah, I can see it.
Totally. Now, what would you say, or what do you think? It's an important, like an important aspect for a play to be a successful one.
I think it's really up to the people that are producing it and like everyone that's involved. Is just to really be passionate about it.
Yeah.
If everyone fits into the puzzle piece, and if you have one puzzle piece that's really not linking up, it makes it hard. That puzzle piece won't look right, and then the audience sees it. It's very clear when somebody's not passionate. And that goes into your rehearsal time. If your rehearsal time is being disrespected, if a producer drops out and you're not able to pick up the scraps. But yeah, I think it's really just down to the passion. If you have a cast and crew that really cares about what they're doing and they're respectful of each other, that's another thing, is you have to be really, really vulnerable in a play, and you have to be able to keep that energy up day after day after day. So really to trust each other too and allow each other to be vulnerable is huge.
Yeah, totally. How cool is that? Yeah. At the end of the day, I think that a play, whenever you got like this connection with the audience, you're good to go.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
You're good to go, right? Because we will see like sometimes that, like also with the characters as well, that there is not a connection to it, and you can tell, right, with the audience when there is not a connection, that some of them will like pay attention, some of them will be like just like looking around, you know, like stuff like that, you know.
Yeah, and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Because you know there has to be some reason that the actor's disconnected, and it's heartbreaking to see, and you always wonder. I mean, I always wonder, maybe it's because I'm on that side, like what's going on, like what, there must be something.
yeah
But
totally.
Wow. I think that's essential.
And then, well, you mentioned before Mamma Mia, but tell me, like, what are some of the things that you enjoyed about it, and what are some of the things that you like about a musical?
So Mamma Mia was a whirlwind. I think what I liked most about Mamma Mia, first off, ABBA. Just the music of ABBA is catchy, and you just can't not sing along. Which is, I think, one of the most fun things about that musical is a lot of people do know the music, either because of ABBA or because of the TV, or not the TV, but the movie that was already produced. So often in the show, we would have people singing along, which is fun.
That's so cool.
Castmates were wonderful. Like I said, we would go out to dinner either before or post show. Tea time was really important to us. Just a wonderful group. In terms of musicals, I love them because of, I think, for the music. A lot of people will joke around like, oh, nobody actually sings their feelings and blah blah blah. I do. I sing my feelings. I like to sing my thoughts, and I get an excuse to do that in musical theater. And everyone has that same energy too. There's a different energy in musical theater that you might not get somewhere else.
I get that, and also I get that it gets that. I mean, I assume that it gets breathtaking at some point. I mean, those who are performing, to see how the audience is reacting and there's actually singing along, right?
Yeah.
How cool. Now, what techniques do you think are important for those who want to start doing musicals?
Definitely recognize your weaknesses. because that was something that I realized, or I didn't notice too late, like that I needed to work on dance, that I needed to actually be formally trained in dance. That when you go out into the real world, you can't wing a double pirouette. So in musical theater, that you do need to be a triple threat, and of course, you're not going to be perfect at all three, but you certainly need to have an acuity in them. So get formal training in all three. It really looks good. And do your time as an ensemble member if you haven't done it before. Do your time, and so that you can like prove that you're ready for a role if you haven't had one yet, because it's worth it. But yeah.
Okay. And so we know how you prepare before going on stage for a regular play. But now tell me, do you use kind of the same ritual for a musical, or is like something else you do?
About the same thing for a musical. Musical also involves vocal warm-ups, which usually take a lot more time, and stretching. I tend to be a little bit more goofy when it comes to stretching.
Okay.
I am one of those people that I'm always bouncing around anyways, so I feel pretty limber and I don't focus on it as much as I probably should. Yeah. But yeah, definitely a lot more warm-ups involved in musical theater. But I'll be doing running lines and be doing squats around the stage or lunges. So, and I'm pretty known for just being a little bit obnoxious when it comes to that.
Yeah.
That's my warm up.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, at the end, it's your process, right? I mean, it's right. Your thing to get you like on set, right? To get you on stage, pretty much.
Right. I think whatever it takes to get you warmed up is fine.
Yeah. For example, I know somebody who will eat a bag of jelly beans before going on stage. So
that's incredible. My weakness is combos. Like a cheddar combos. I used to do that a lot in high school. I've since kind of kicked the habit, but that used to be my weakness. Yeah.
So cool. Now, going over to your appearances on TV and web series. So let's start with The Cultist. Tell me about your character in that show.
Oh, yeah, Occultist. So her name is Acantha. She is a 17th century witch that has found herself in the modern world. We haven't quite defined to the world how she got there, but she has her confidant, Shay, played by Rachel Marshall. Love that woman to death. That is kind of her guide through the modern world and the cultists, who are goofballs as they are. And so Acantha's just trying to make it in this modern world, but also be kind of a guiding light to the cultists. But she also really doesn't care. She knows what she's doing. She is a worshiper of Azathoth. And she's solid in her ways, and she just is kind of an onlooker to the ridiculous camaraderie that's happening around her. So it's pretty fun. She's quite a comedic spectator.
That's so cool. Wow. Yeah. And you were also in Lost and Found, and you also did a voiceover role. So tell me, was that like the first time you did like a voiceover?
Yeah, it was. First time I've ever done voiceover. I wanted to do it for a while. That was my friend Richie Jordan is like the star of that, and he's one of my ride or dies. But also produced by Brian White and Rachel Foyles. And I'm just super duper thankful that they even thought of me to do that role. I don't know how it came about, but yeah, I did voiceover for that. I'm his agent on the phone, reminding him to do his job. And it was super fun. Voiceover is nice. You get to essentially be your own boss. You submit for your own roles. I mean, I have my own equipment right beside me. That's why I keep looking over there. You do everything yourself. You edit it. You submit it. So it's nice to be autonomous in that way. You don't really get that when it comes to film. You can't. I mean, I'm sure you could, but you don't film an entire project by yourself in your room.
Yeah, totally. And also, I think another plus is that you get the chance to wear comfortable clothes.
Exactly. I could totally wear pajamas and do it. Yeah.
There you go. Now, then you were in Second Chances, Tranquil Inferno, Thanksgiving, Halloween Special, This Guy, Survivor Girls, Chew, Crying Over Spilled Milk, Eviscerate Me, This Guy, and Model. So tell me, like, from all of this that I just mentioned, like, what are some of the highlight moments that you had during those projects?
Wow. I guess I'll go through like a couple of them. The one that sticks out first and foremost is This Guy, because we just wrapped 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That one was directed, written, shot by Ricky Jordan, who did Lost Found. Again, Ride Die, he's incredible. It's a part of an anthology series that he's producing. And the coolest part about the role that I did for that project was that he wrote the character to take advantage of something that I learned during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to say too much because I know he doesn't have an NDA going out, but I also don't want to ruin too much.
Okay, yeah.
But it's a super fun role. He's the
That's
coolest guy to work with, super funny guy, and just a very giving director. So Ricky and I haven't been able to work together in person in a really long time, so that was really great to do. Another one is Chew. Chew was precious. I tend to lean more towards roles like what I played in This Guy, and Survivor Girls is, snarky, abrasive kind of roles, and Chew is the flip of that. She's just well-meaning, over talkative, oversharer, and just wants to be a part of somebody's life in the best way possible. So she was so much fun to play. It's set in the 60s. And just it was so much fun to get to essentially be who I am as a person, but a little bit younger. So I loved that role, and getting the chance. I haven't been offered a chance like that in a really long time.
Okay.
That's definitely a highlight. And then Survivor Girls, can't rave on Survivor Girls enough. We've finally wrapped production in September.
Mm-hmm.
After about 2 to 3 legs of production.
Okay.
We went through a lot of highs and lows, and just when you talk about family, like this is a film family for sure. I don't know, like we had a cabin with all of the lead females, which whoever thought it would be a wise idea to put a bunch of females into one room together, I don't know. But it ended up working out really well, and I don't know what I'd do without those women. They've truly become a family. Daniel Bamberg directed, and I've never had a more incredible experience with a director. He really took a chance on me with the role that he gave me. I actually looked at the project and thought a few expletives. I didn't know what to think. But he took a chance on me, and we talked about the project and the role for months. And it ended up being one of the best experiences, I think, of my career so far, that I'll carry with me for a really long time.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm very excited for it to come out.
Yeah, absolutely. And do you know when is it gonna come out?
I don't. I wish I did. Since we just wrapped, I think it's still up in the air with post. But as soon as I know, I will let you know.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we can have like the exclusive here.
Yeah. Sure.
Okay. Cool. Now, what do you think it's it's like a key aspect for storytelling?
First off, just realize that it's not about you. You know, it's a story. And everything that's been put into the story, down to the punctuation, to the objects, the events, the people, they're there for a reason.
Yeah.
And so any movement or diversion from that is just disrespect to where it's trying to lead the message. And I think that's really important for actors and storytellers or producers even, to recognize is that if you really want to tell a message, really take time to go through what each piece is trying to say by being there.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
And now, if you could describe your career at the moment in a TV show, a movie, a play, or even a book, what would be the title of it?
Ooh. Oh, that's a hard one. I don't know. My first instinct says Inception.
Okay, that's deep. Okay.
Just because I never know which way it's going to turn.
Okay.
And sometimes I think it's going to go one way and then it turns another, but I'm not necessarily upset about that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if it's the best film to describe it, but if I were to name it something of my own, Anya Mazakova knows this one. I would name it Bad Decisions Going Well.
Okay. And would you make it like a trilogy or just one and that's it?
Oh, definitely a trilogy.
There you go. There you go. Just remember that if you're gonna do a movie, the trilogy you have to divide it on 2 parts.
Oh, of course. Yeah, there's gonna be 4 movies, even though I'm gonna call it a trilogy. It's gonna be like, did you ever know the Uglies and Pretties series? You might not know it.
Uglies and Pretties? No, I haven't.
I feel like it was much more of a feminine thing. But it was a series that they had. It was a trilogy, and they're like, "This is the final book of the trilogy," and then they came out with a 4th book.
Yeah. Okay.
That's gonna be my trilogy.
There you go. Mm-hmm. So you're gonna make like your own cinematic universe, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
There you go.
And it's gonna be totally unexpected on that.
There you go. I mean, we already have the MCU with Mallory Cinematic Universe. There you go.
I love it. I'm here for it.
All right, sounds like a plan then. Then if at some point you do it, remember that you can go back here and be like, oh yeah, I got everything here.
Right. Yeah. I'll have to give you credit.
There you go. Thank you. Yes. Now, you also do modeling. So tell me, what are some of the things that you like the most about modeling, and what are some of the places that you have to? Yeah. What are some of the places that you went to take a photo shoot that you enjoyed the most?
Ooh. So my favorite thing about modeling, the way that I describe it is that, theater is you do the same thing over and over and over again, and it's longer term. Film, you do one shot and you're done. So it's like theater condensed.
Okay.
Modeling is film condensed. You get a whole story told in a couple of hours. And that's what I like. Or you'll do like a couple of costume changes or wardrobe changes.
Yeah.
You get a lot done in a very short period of time. And you get to explore so much. You meet so many different people, so many different styles and fashions and angles. I think that's what really drew me to modeling in the first place. You get to have these really grotesque or dissonant angles and create something that's really cool. So yeah, that's what draws me to modeling. It's just the like haute couture and things that are really off the wall. You don't get to do that in film because people find that odd. If you're just standing with your hand on your head, people don't like that. It's not natural. But yeah, so that's what I'm drawn to modeling for. In terms of locations, I think my favorite one is one time we shot in an abandoned chicken factory.
Okay.
And it was one that involved several different wardrobe changes. But we had we had driven around it and they dropped a pin on the location. I was like, okay, sure. This sounds like it's going to be an adventure. We get there and they say, okay, if we see a cop, we're going to have to bolt. But I have the footage like being Bluetoothed over to my computer, so if they take it, like we're not going to lose it. Yeah. It was this whole elaborate thing. But it was really fun. It involved climbing on different structures, and yeah, I think that one's my favorite so far. I'm supposed to be going to an abandoned, like overgrown train station pretty soon, with a really high fashion dress, and I'm looking forward to that one. But yeah, chicken. Yeah, sorry, I'm gonna have to plug my phone in. It's slowly done.
It's okay.
Let's see. There we go. Perfect.
Cool. So once you have that, once you have that news for that shoot, for this new shoot that you're gonna have, let me know so I can get another exclusive here, because we're all about exclusive, so.
Oh, for sure. Happy to send it over.
Cool. Now, what are some of the things that you do after a photo shoot?
Oh, I'm sorry, you cut out. I only heard what are some of the things you do.
Can you hear? Okay, you can hear me now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is the thing that you usually do after a photo shoot?
Take off my makeup. Full Mulan. Take off all my makeup. I really kind of pamper myself after a photo shoot. People don't realize how exhausting they are. Because it is a lot of you have to send energy throughout your whole body for the entire
totally.
So yeah, I use the full excuse to pamper myself. Maybe take a bath, get on a mask. Yeah, and jam out to some tunes. I'll have a Broadway belt session on the way home.
There you go. That's killing. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Actually, it is. Yeah. That's what I realized, that for some of in some photo shoots, or at least in every photo shoot, it gets really tiring, because for some of them it could happen, right? That you will have to force like the muscles, to look like you are carrying something, and you need to put trying to put that you're carrying it. So it gets really, I get it.
Yeah, it takes a lot. Or make something that's really uncomfortable look comfortable. Yeah, it happens a lot.
Yeah. Now, I wonder, what motivates you? So you do so many amazing, incredible things. I mean, you're killing it here, basically. But I wonder, what drives you to continue doing such epic job? But also, what gets you back up whenever you're having, those bad days in which you are constantly questioning to yourself if you should continue doing it or not? What makes you be like, screw it, I'm just continue doing this because I love it. So yeah, tell me.
Yeah. For me, I just feel like it's a calling. I left a very solid career to be able to do this.
Yeah.
And I think what keeps me coming back, and I don't think I've ever even had a moment where I thought, oh, this is it, I'm done, I have to quit. I've of course had my down days of oh, this is really frustrating, I'm not going anywhere. We all have that. But when I'm having a bad day, it's film that ultimately brings me back out of it.
Okay.
It's a character that exploring a character, or just an audition, or a class that brings me so much joy. Just getting the opportunity to tell stories is what lights my heart on fire. And I could truly get emotional about it, but I can't imagine doing anything else. And I think it's a true blessing to be able to do what I do. And I feel like I'm here to do this job, to make stories, be told, and make film more accessible. I would love to make science more accessible in media. That's something that I really hope to do further on in my career. So yeah, that's why I keep getting up every day and keep pushing at it, is so that maybe one day I can make a difference.
There you go. That's inspiring, though.
Yeah. Maybe.
Yeah, totally. That's inspiring. Yeah. And my last question here is, what can we expect from Mallory in the future?
Hopefully you can expect science and media. Hopefully you can expect more women on the edge of society. I've been getting a lot of audition requests for women are looked down upon.
Can you repeat it again? It's lagging a little bit.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. I guess what you can see from me in the future is hopefully more science in the media. Probably doing some children projects in the future.
Okay.
I also have been getting a lot of requests for marginalized women and women that are looked down upon and typical society. So probably we'll be seeing a lot more of that in my future projects. So pretty excited for what that has to hold.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool and amazing. And you know what? If I could describe your career right now, if someone would ask me, what do I think about Mallory? I would only say this.
Thank you.
Now, also, I mean, at the end of the day, here it is super cool. It is super cool what you do. It is super inspiring also because, I mean, I understand. I mean, I understand, of course, that actors go through so many things in order to continue pursuing what they love the most, and basically, you have here an amazing career. I can't wait to see more of your awesome job in the future because you're basically killing it here. Yeah, keep do what you do because you are making. I do believe that you're making a difference, you know, and yeah. Also, another thing that I have to say here is that because we finished the whole questions here, I need to give you an epic shout out. So there you go. Again, thank you so much for being here. Keep having an amazing rest of the day, an amazing week, an amazing month, basically amazing stuff for you because you totally deserve it. Also, I want to thank those who are watching right now. If you're watching this later on the YouTube or watching this later on the podcast, make sure that you're following Mallory in our local social media. Normally, what I would say is for you to put pause. Then, you know, you can subscribe, leave a like. It just take 1 second. And then hydrate. And then go follow Mallory. Leave a million likes. Share the content. Spread the word that we have a talented, awesome actress here. And then come back. And again, Mallory, thank you so much. Before I send you off, I need to send you off in an epic, badass way. So...
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you.
So yeah, again, thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
Bye.